recording?
Yeah. Yes.
Dude, you gotta say something. Anyway, you gotta edit this
Yeah.
out, so I'm starting now. Hello,
Cool.
everyone. Oh, come the fuck on. Okay, everybody, shut the fuck up.
You shut the fuck up. Fucking tell me how to live my life.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. We have decided on a name, the Social Disaster Cooking Show. Joining us today will be Oliver,
Hi.
Andy,
Yeah. No, God.
and also we have Tarvi.
Hello.
No, stop.
You stop.
You. No, you. What?
Okay.
Okay.
Anyway. So I guess let's get right to it. There's not gonna be as many people as last time, but you know we still got a pretty serious topic to discuss, and that is gonna be Andy's fetish for diapers. Like, can you tell us more about that? Like, what's going on?
Okay, so sometimes when I play video games, I want to get up and go take a pee. However, that is not possible because, as we all know, in an online game, you cannot pause because it's multiplayer. So, what I do is I wear adult diapers so I can take a pee while I play video games.
Oh, I see. That's very practical. Shit, I should have thought of that.
It is.
All these years I've been shaming all those people who wear diapers, and all along, I was wrong. I was wrong.
Wearing a diaper is very practical. It's also cheaper than toilet paper. Way cheaper. Because
Is
you can
it?
just wash the diaper. It's
Maybe.
easy.
Oh my God.
Yeah, okay. Moving on. So, the actual...
Why don't you just go and pee during the death timer, though?
Tarvi. Stop. Anyway, so the actual topic for today's podcast will be police brutality, perception or reality. And since we have so many news, so many videos, so many sources that show police brutality, we should be able to cover quite a lot. So, Oliver, would you like to start?
Hell yeah, boy! So I'm an aspiring police officer. I'm gonna be protecting all your asses out there at some point, either like in Vermont or Wisconsin or something else. I don't know. I haven't decided yet where exactly we're gonna settle down. Either
So
way,
unfortunate.
your fucking face is unfortunate. What? Anyway, so I want to be a police officer. So like in my spare time, I like looking up police facts all the time, or like police, related incidents. So one of my spare hobbies is looking up police videos. Now, as such, I'm a pretty avid like viewer of, for example, police activity. Whereas a lot of people like to find their news on police on something called Cop Block or some other garbage like that, which is just very biased towards like anti-police propaganda. And to be honest, it's pretty fucking disgusting what's going on. So the reason why today's episode is titled the way it is because honestly, like, is police brutality really an epidemic like people claim it to be, or is it just like people's like uh just their blissful ignorance of how exactly law enforcement works and what is actually required to be a police officer and what is expected of you and what are the dangers and yada yada so on. So of course, I'm not a police officer. I don't have any hands-on experience with actually enforcing the law. However, I do follow quite a number of different like YouTubers who are or were police officers. Some of them are like Mike the Cop, Donut Operator, Officer Daniels, recently Mikey Vo. He started a YouTube channel. I mean, there's like a whole lot of police officers that I follow, and what better source to find information than police officers? So I don't know. I think it's the real problem that people just like to rely on their information about police officers and the way they should conduct their business off of some bullshit Facebook pages that just have like a part of the clip that just shows a police officer attacking someone or punching someone or whatever. Whereas in reality, maybe he was attacked first. Maybe the guy stole his gun. I don't know, stole his baton, something like that. So it's a real problem, and honestly, I think this needs to be talked about and just cleared up. I don't know, I think everyone here is like pro police, kind of, sort of, depending on your
Ten,
on your situation.
10-4.
Yeah, 10-4, 1088, 1030. I don't know. Tarvi, what do you think? Do you support your local law enforcement here in Estonia?
Yes, police are good.
That is a resourceful answer.
Yes, police good.
Well, maybe I can chime in. I've had a couple of run-ins with the police. Nothing bad. Mostly they have been my own fault, and only one of those incidents. Now, I'm not talking about police brutality. I'm talking about the policing in general, in Estonia at least. In only one of those incidents, I have felt that the officer or officers, actually there were two, they did not treat me as a person, pretty much. They were being complete douches. I mean, I did speed, so I did break the law, yes, and I got ticketed for that. But still, I understood my mistake, obviously, and tried to convey it. That, of course, I know I made a mistake. I know I fucked up, and I accept the ticket, whatever the cost may be. But they were still like complete assholes. They were cursing, actually, and the whole situation was not pleasant whatsoever.
I couldn't.
Well, a lot of people that go towards positions that give some sort of authority do have their own issues, and being a police officer isn't necessarily easy. That is not to say it is excusable, but it's not necessarily some sort of act that can necessarily be judged in a negative way, in my opinion, at least.
I
Hmm.
there- there are definitely some people who go into law enforcement because it gives them a position of power and authority. Maybe they were like bullied in school, something like that. I was bullied in school. I'm not going to be a police officer, so I'd be like, I can beat up 15-year-olds now who are beating up other 14-year-olds. Like that's not, I'm just not really why I'm doing it. Like I want to get into law enforcement to like actually improve the public perceptions of police. Like they're not all power hungry pieces of shit who use every opportunity to kind of demean you, give you a citation, find reasons to arrest you. I don't know, plant evidence on you or whatever. There was a recent
But
case.
I apologize. Go on.
You apologize.
Yeah, because I
So there were
interrupted.
two recent like very well documented cases where in Baltimore as well as in like Los Angeles Police Department, officers planted drugs. The LAPD planted drugs in someone's wallet, and or was it drugs or was it, yeah, I think it was drugs. And Baltimore PD went to a crime scene or something, planted drugs, then left the area, and then came back pretending like, oh, what's this? And then they, like, ooh, what's this? And they found the drugs, and that kind of shit is absolutely disgusting. And I don't understand why they did. I really don't know. But it does happen. It does happen. Police do plant drugs. They are like pieces of shit who just have to flex their authority all the time. But I guarantee you, like the majority are not
That's
like
not what I meant by authority, though. By authority, I meant simply having the authority of the law and simply having the powers that they are given with. For example, I don't think you could say that you dislike the idea of having the authority to put bad people in jail, right?
well, definitely not. No.
Yeah, so you do like the idea of having this form of authority. So that's what I meant. I didn't mean authority in the um, German sense.
What? German said
Yeah,
what?
Wow.
let's not explain that.
Yeah.
Like, whoosh. Anyway, so anywho, yeah. So I want to pursue law enforcement because I want to improve public perception of law enforcement, like community policing. You know, going to meet your like your local neighbors, whatever. Kind of letting them know that law enforcement is here to help you out, not here to get you in trouble. And if you need help, then definitely call 911. Don't try to handle it yourself unless there's no time but to do it yourself. Because law enforcement are trained to handle any situations, like if there's a armed robber or whatever, like if there's whatever carjacker or something like that. Like police are trained how to handle that situation. A regular citizen is not. So just kind of leave it to the professionals and people who are actually paid and trained on how to handle that situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um,
Go ahead.
So like law enforcement perception is kind of so in America the way I see it anyway. This is kind of my point of view. Like I like this is something from someone who watches like American cops or at least North American cops handle situations, and I always find that they deal with situations much better than, for example, cops here in Estonia. So this like one time I had a pretty awful experience. Like it wasn't awful. Okay, I'm kind of exaggerating it. It wasn't awful, but I went to I guess there's something to do with laws. I guess I don't know. Either way, the point is those two police officers I interacted with, they weren't the most pleasant. Like it could have easily been just like, hey dude, what are you doing? All right, just cut it out, just get out of here. And I would have been like, all right, sorry sir, and I'll just leave. That's it. But no, they had to flex it. They had to ask me questions and just be dickheads. So basically, what happened was that there was like an anti-gay protest or something like that. I just went up there, hold my middle finger up. I didn't say anything, although I was called like different like derogatory terms that are related to homosexuals, all sorts of things, and they weren't paid any mind to. Whereas me, they just grabbed me by my arm, dragged me over to the other side of the street, and we're like, "What's going on? Show me your ID. Why are you here? Why are you doing that? It's against the law. You should get out of here." It's like this really like superior kind of tone, and I'm like, are you serious? Like, why are you like this? Like, you could easily just come up to me and tell me like, "Hey, dude, like what you're doing, you just legally can't do that. So like, how about you just don't get in trouble and just leave. Don't pick a fight with these people. They could have been a lot more polite. Uh, so I don't know, like it's kind of how you perceive law enforcement in your local country or your local area, I guess. I'm not sure if you guys can relate to this. Like, Andy, tell us
Personally,
about Romanian police.
I know somebody in the force of in the police force. Here we have a different police force for protests, and this specific officer, well, not only for protests, this also includes SWAT and everything. It's like a sort of special force. Um, and Wait a second, what was I saying?
Special police force for riots.
All right. Yeah. What they told me was that they get specific orders that they simply cannot say no to. For example, if their boss comes and say, like the right wingers, yeah, just throw them away, or the left wingers, throw them away, or whatever. And they have to do those orders. They cannot complain about those orders. They have their families to take care of. They need to put food on the table and everything, but they still have to do them. So there is the possibility that they're angry because, well, first of all, at a protest, you can't go, hey, I'm sorry, sir. Can you please stop being something that might cause a ruckus in our boss's eyes and leave? No, you just kick him out.
Well, yeah, but that's orders. Like if you get orders from a higher up, I watched a video with Neil yesterday
And in
about.
Estonia, which is a highly homophobic country, do you think that at that protest he did not get orders from higher ups, or at least some sort of eye, like some sort of look from the higher ups, like he'll take care of those gays, man?
Could have been. It could have very well been. I don't know. I kind of like. I guess I'm just kind of biased in my way of just viewing police officers because like I would like to think that they're just like nice people who are actually there to keep the peace and all that stuff, and they could be like very like polite about it the way they go about conducting their business instead of being this like authoritarian piece of shit. Like you don't have to flex your authority. Like I know you have the authority to do whatever you want. Like you don't have to like flex it. Instead, you could show your human side and kind of do that. But no,
They have this authority, but some people do not know it, or even though they are aware of it, they do not understand what this authority means. For once, they watch these officers as a means of enforcing the law, but when something bad happens, they don't watch them as human anymore. Like, oh, they're officers, they should enforce the law no matter what. But when something bad happens to them, then the police officer should have been human. You get what I mean? When he does something wrong, then why was he not a robot who did everything right? But when he did something right, but it inconveniences you, why is he not human? It doesn't work like that. It's
Well,
either one or the other because there's no way
yeah,
it can be both.
it's double standards,
Yeah.
pretty much.
hmm,
Like, I'm sure that well, as it is with the um, put it very bluntly, good cops, bad cops. There's always good cops. The good have a are a bigger percentage than the bad.
Yep.
But it's just that the things that the good guys or the good cops do, uh, they people take them for granted, and they think that it's a normal thing, even if it's not, like helping out someone with a simple thing. But then when a bad cop does something, that is blasted everywhere in the news, and it's just well, make takes the it,
Mm.
what's the fucking word for it? Well, anyway, it changes the opinions of the majority of the people because of those bad cops.
I think media has a big role to play in how people's opinions are formed of law enforcement in general.
Oh, of course, that's
How do you really define a bad cop though? Because is a bad cop an asshole who gets the job done by the book and saves you and everything? Well, by the book, not necessarily, because the book is just a not necessarily a suggestion, but a sort of instruction set. You sometimes have to deviate from it, but you get the idea. Should Hmm?
well, of course, morality plays a big role in it. So if the book says something that seems a bit maybe immoral or too harsh, and the cop decides to go more of a moral way, like I don't know, understanding, like perhaps someone is speeding, and they explain it. I don't know. Maybe their some one of their parents is in the hospital right now. The cop is being a morally good person and tells them, "Come on, go, and I'm not gonna give you a ticket, whatever." Oh, but
My well, think about it like this: speeding is an issue. The issue where you're not allowed to speed is because s- a vehicle is very fast, even 60 kilometers per hour. That's really high speed. My childhood friend's father, he died being hit at 50 per hour on a crosswalk. The person didn't watch the road. He hit him, and they just ran over his head and drove off. It's that easy, If we're talking about human lives here, sure, you want to get somewhere faster, but then just, I don't know, get a faster means of transportation. If that's the limit of the law, that's the limit of the law.
I
yeah,
think
Yeah.
that
You getting
really
there
depends,
faster is not worth a human life.
no, of
You're
course
not
not.
Andy.
worth
That
dying.
really depends on the situation that we're talking about here. Sometimes you can't have morality or laws get in the way of a good thing, and vice versa. Like, it always differs, I'd say.
But yeah, each call is different. That's pretty much how every police
Yep.
officer describes their line of work. Every call is different. It kind of depends on situation, circumstances. If someone has a family member in the hospital, he could show some empathy, maybe even escort the person to the hospital. Or that could also be like that. That could work as two things. One could be that to confirm that someone actually is in the hospital and the guy isn't full of shit. And two would be if he actually is in the hospital, then he did a good thing, and it's going to be good in that person's eyes.
Yeah, but you getting faster to the hospital will not actually affect that person's health anyway.
No, of
I
Well,
mean,
course.
yeah.
it's not like them seeing you will save them from causes or anything. That's
Yeah,
the problem. Because they should just be like, okay, sir, I understand. It's a very nice thing you're doing. However, by law, I still have to do my job and give you a warning or a ticket if this isn't your first warning for this sort of thing. And then you can just go on to the hospital at a normal speed.
yeah, but
Because
try telling that to someone who's like frantic about it, like
of course,
you
we
think
have
rationally, sure. Rationally, I agree with you. Yeah, you shouldn't speed just
people.
because someone's in hospital.
People are not rational beings. I completely agree with you, but that's exactly why he should get the ticket so he can somehow understand like, hey, this hurts because it hurts my wallet. This ticket hurts my wallet. It takes time because
Well,
even if humans aren't always rational beings, we have to act as if they are in order to be able to have a functional society. Because if we act as if they are, then people will at least try to act as rational beings themselves, so they
well,
don't actually kill others or do any sort
maybe
of
maybe the hospital is kind of a bad example. If you're just speeding to get faster to work, I'm gonna ticket your ass.
Oh yeah, that
Like,
definitely,
well,
yeah.
most likely I'm gonna ticket your ass. Like, come on, dude. Like, you're late to work, sure, but like, is is being like 10 minutes late to work really worth like 20 years in prison? Like, I don't think so. You know, if you happen to hit someone and like kill someone like accidentally, like it doesn't have to be like intentional or anything.
I also think when talking about police guidelines, we should talk about the general, like we should not cut off our children's arms, even if they say that they feel like they have no left arm, because that's going to be bad for them. That's the same point. Like we shouldn't say, hey, as a police officer, you can actually let someone go if they were just going to see a loved one, because they were sad and everything. But you can actually do that, but you shouldn't say it. You shouldn't promote it in the public. Like you should say that, oh yeah, you should never do that. You should always follow that, even though you actually make these exceptions. That's how I see it. Because if we promote it as it should be, then there's a you know you know there's a higher chance that it would get that way.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think law enforcement is quite that black and white. I mean, I get what you're saying, but I don't know. I think it's very circumstantial, depending on the outcome will be very circumstantial. It'll be up to the person. It'll be up to like what the officer is like currently feeling. Like it could be that it came from a shit call and then he's feeling upset, and like he's gonna have to dish it out on something or someone. I mean, it's very circumstantial the outcome. It's not necessarily just always like black and white like you said. But speaking of which,
Why do people say bad words?
because it feels nice.
Because they're bad words, because they're interdicted. Why do people say the N-word in such bad words? Because people are like, oh, you cannot say this. You know what I mean? So you can't
Watch
really
me.
exactly. You can't really tell police officers, hey, you can't do this. That's why you have to give a general suggestion of the good thing, and then they just, in my opinion at least, and then they should just take that and do whatever with it. Even if they let the person go every single time, he's going to the hospital. Them as an officer, they should still always say that they should follow the law, just as a principle.
But okay, all right. So, so how does this relate to police brutality? So, if you do your line of work, let's say you're a really old veteran, you've been doing this for 10 years, maybe 20 years, something like that. I think at one point you're just gonna flip. I think at one point, like maybe you're a strong individual, you're gonna remain stern. Completely on task, nothing phases you. Maybe you're like a super RoboCop. You get your job done exactly how you needed to get it done. But I don't think everyone's that strong. So I think at one point there might be actually just like there's always going to be a little bulb that flashes. Like let's say you came from a very shit call. Let's say like I don't know, like a child died or something like that. Maybe that like affects you emotionally. I don't know. Like you came from a really bad call, and then you after that, you have to go back to work, right? Let's say you handle that for 2 hours at the start of your shift, and then you still have the rest of your shift to go through. And then some asshole speeds, for one, then you pull him over, and then he gives you attitude. Like, he gives you massive, massive fucking attitude. So I think, at that point, that bulb is going to start flashing in that officer's head. And he's going to be like, I want to drag this person out of this fucking car and beat the shit out of him. Like, to kind of, for one, the attitude, because, stow the attitude, that's not really necessary. It's not going to help you getting out of a ticket or anything. And two, he just came from a really bad call. It really emotionally, affected him. And I think that's like one of the factors when it comes to police brutality. So yeah, there's I think it's a real big factor about what the officer has just experienced when it comes to police brutality. There's a lot of factors that go into it. So police brutality is not like if you actually pulled him out of a car and started beating on him, that's brutality. That's clear as day police brutality.
Yeah.
However, a lot of people confuse police brutality with just detaining a subject. Mm-hmm. So let's say someone's resisting, someone was stopped for whatever. He matched a description of a felon or something like that, whatever, just basic case scenario. Let's say he has a warrant out on him, maybe he's resisting, who knows what's happening, right? And then the police officer has to use different methods to detain the subject, get him under control, get him in handcuffs, and stuff like that. And, naturally, you got these people flocking around this officer with cameras, police brutality, screeching all this shit while they have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. This guy could have been fighting with the officer, full on fist fighting, boxing, whatever. And people would still scream police brutality. Whereas when the police officer punched back, it was one, self-defense, and two, to kind of actually get the subject under control. And people perceive that as police brutality. But is it, though? I mean, how would you really get the subject under control who's like maybe like I don't know, like 2 feet taller than you, and all you have is your baton, mace, taser, and your fists. So you have to utilize one of those. Maybe in the moment you get carried away and people scream police brutality, but is that really police brutality? Not really.
No.
It's just a method to detain the subject. That's it. That's all it comes down to. And it doesn't matter if you're a guy or a girl. It really doesn't matter. Or whatever those other genders are, whatever you identify as. You can be whatever you want. It doesn't matter. Law is unisex, and you will be detained. And it doesn't matter like if you're a girl or whatever. Like you can be a woman and still beat the shit out of a guy. Like I can admit to that 100%. Like there are plenty of women out in the world, including my mother, who can beat the shit out of me. Like it's just reality, right? So I don't care if you're a guy or a girl. If you come at me, I will tase you. I will use my baton. I will punch you. I don't like. I will use whatever tools are necessary and necessary for that particular situation, in accordance with my department's use of force guidelines. And I will get you down on the ground. I will put you in handcuffs. And it's just a real problem how like both the media and private citizens, because of their ignorance, or maybe the media is doing purposefully to kind of get those ad revenue dollars, but private citizens might just be doing it out of ignorance because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, because they don't know actually anything that goes into law enforcement, or even try to understand it. They just go for the views or something like that. And it's a huge problem. And I think that's really like the media is overhyping it, overinflating it. Private citizens are just like creating videos, putting them up on Facebook. They're like, oh, look at this person, like look at this police officer beat a black man, racist, all this shit. But really, it's just how you perceive it and what the facts actually are. So I don't think police brutality is really an epidemic. Of course, I don't have any statistics to prove or disprove that, but I don't think it's really a problem, like that big of a problem anyway.
No, it's definitely not an epidemic. The couple of cases we see a month, let's say, there's probably more, but still, mostly it is justified because, well, first of all, the subject was fighting back. Well, what are you gonna let him fight? Just beat yourself to senseless?
I
Right?
wonder, out of the 300 million Americans, how many see a police officer every day? Probably, let's say most of them, right?
I'd say like eighty
How how
percent.
how many how many get punched or brutalized by police?
Right?
Look,
Right?
I
Exactly.
mean, probably 0.00 something. Like, sure, we see some numbers, we see a few hundreds, maybe a few thousands, and we think, oh, that's a lot. It is a lot. Even a single person being actually going through police brutality, that's too much. That shouldn't happen. But most of these cases aren't police brutality, and I think it's because when you see a fight is brutal, right? When you see an officer punching someone, it doesn't look nice. Like it really looks like the officer just being an asshole and just punching someone, especially when that someone is already, let's say, semi immobilized. But the truth is that most of the times we have to know a few things. Like, we have to know the context, what happened before, we have to know
Mhm.
what happened after, we have to know the laws surrounding what's happening, and we also have to think like we're both the suspect and the officer. Because as an officer, when someone attacks you, come on, you're fucking scared. Like, you never get past that fear. You just learn to accept, like, oh, well, yeah, shit, I'm scared, but I still got to do shit, so I just can't just shiver and sit on my ass. I just got to get this suspect. So you can't always think clearly. They're sometimes going to make mistakes, or they're sometimes going to act a bit harsh even when they shouldn't, but that's because they're human.
Right.
yeah,
Exactly.
Did you
So,
did we never act more aggressively than we wanted to? Should we just get fired from our jobs or from our relationships because of that? Is that actually really bad? Maybe other people need to be aggressive with us, so we don't end up being wussies. Wusses.
oh yeah, get aggressive with me, daddy.
uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
yeah, but there's one other thing that what comes to my mind at least is that generally people think that police officers are supposed to know how to handle every situation perfectly, how to detain a suspect without the use of force whatsoever, like pretty much just talk them down. And they think that the officer doesn't ever, well, the perfect officer shouldn't ever feel the need to use force, but that's just not how it works. Because you need to use matching, well, equal or higher force to detain the suspect. But people don't seem to understand that.
Yeah. There's
When a,
also the sorry, let me just bring up this quick point and I'll let you go. So there's also this fact that a lot of people are making the excuses in hindsight they're making the excuse, oh, this person was mentally ill. How in the fuck is an officer supposed to deduce that from just looking at a person? I mean, sure, there are some like physical illnesses that actually you're visually, like, you can look at a person and be like, oh, this person's impaired. Maybe I should kind of like take it more easy or whatever. But for the most part, like, oh, that person was mentally ill. Well, okay, how the fuck was the officer supposed to know that when that person was coming at him with a bat or a knife or some other shit? How was he supposed to know that? There was a threat. He handled the threat, and that's it. Full stop. In hindsight, everything's 2020. Anyway, that's it. You can go.
It's funny how people think disabled people or impaired people are somehow weaker just because they don't have an arm or a leg, or they have physical issue or mental issue, because they still have a body, they still have bones. Unless they have an actual issue with their bone structure, a bone is incredibly hard. Like, you probably cannot bite for your hand. You'd break your teeth probably, and that tells you how hard your bone is. I could smash your head with my foot all night long and it would not break. I would not be physically able to break it, because your skull takes up 100 kilos of force at least. And that's really important, because you can't just say, hey, that guy's impaired, I'll just go easy on him, like, hey brother, come here, little buddy, come with me. And then he just fucking headbutts me, even though he has no arms and legs. He just fucking headbutts me and kills me, because I then fall on the ground and hit my head and die.
A single headbutt, dead. Man kills officer with a single headbutt.
Since this is Romania, this will probably not shock you, but I know somebody who literally just slapped someone. That person fell bad, and they just smacked their head onto the ground and just died instantly. They smacked their head in a weird way. They had a blood clot and they just died. Like, well, it's that easy, you know.
Given the state of Romania's roads, I mean, I'm not surprised if he fell into a hole and like fucking popped out of China.
Dying is way easier than it seems, and being a monster is way easier than it seems.
So Tarvi, you've been kind of quiet. So what do you think about police brutality? Do you see it as a problem? Do you like what do you think?
I have no opinion on this.
Well,
how do you?
Like,
everyone's got an opinion on everything. Come on.
My opinion is no opinion.
But I would kind of understand if there was only police force, let's say, in the United States, and you only hear about the police shit in the United States, but there are issues.
Police is a myth.
But there are issues in Estonia as well. Yes, they're not as common, obviously, because Estonia is way, way smaller. We only have 1.3 million citizens. But still, there is some news of it. You have heard something, so you gotta have an opinion.
Well, Tarvi figures out his opinion. I just wanted to say a single sentence I forgot to say earlier. You said, Hardi,
sorry.
Yes, you said, Hardi, that that people expect officers to know what they should do in every single situation. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I also expect my cashier to know where every single fucking product is, and I also expect them to not take 20 minutes to scan my product and tell me what the price is, so I can just swipe my card and leave in 2 seconds, you know. But that's not how it works. It should be the same for officers. So when every single cashier knows where every single product is, then yeah, sure, then we can expect for officers to know everything.
So, Tarvi, have you actually spoken to a police officer? Like, have you actually been like face to face with one and actually talked to one?
No, never.
Really?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's normal. It's normal because Estonian police officers don't really come up and talk to you. They just don't do that.
Yeah, no. The only thing to do is they either A, take your fucking breath analyze test, or B, they just kind of like threateningly wave at you or something, and that's it. They don't really do much. And I'm sorry for all Estonian police officers, but like, you motherfuckers don't do anything of noteworthy. Oh no, we had a police raid. Like yeah, cool. That happens in all civilized countries. Oh no, we had another police raid about like drunk drivers or something. Yeah, that's something.
Hey, careful, Tarvi. Your opinions are showing.
So I have some opinion, but they're not as, you know, I'm really middling in the side of police because, like, to be honest, here in Estonia and like anywhere else, the police have never done anything to me. So like I can't
Wait, wait,
form an
wait, wait,
opinion.
wait,
We're not
wait,
talking
wait,
about
wait.
you. We're talking about
Any
overall.
Wait, no, 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 no. Unlike, wait. You said in Estonia nothing, but wait. So have you interacted with police somewhere else?
No, never actually.
Oh, the way you can't
Oh,
assume me.
wait. The only like if we're talking about like a semi-police organization, the only one I've talked to is like border guard, U.S. border guard, but that's like it.
Border guard. The fuck, their guard.
U.S.
Border
border
guard.
guard.
Border guard.
Because we know the government cares for us and always listens to us, and our opinions
it's
are just alleged opinions, just so you know.
it's border patrol, not border guard. The fuck.
Whatever, border patrol.
They're not.
Sorry.
No, they're not a semi law enforcement. They are like a legitimate big fucking agency. And honestly, the border patrol is actually amazing. I love their uniforms and like just how effective they really are at what they do. Like they look for the cartels have what are called coyotes, and those guys basically smuggle people in the U.S. illegally, and they're really good at it. But Border Patrol is, for the most part, a little bit better. They're pretty good at what they do. So they use like helicopters, they use like thermal imaging, they use like all sorts of like evidence that's around the area, they use like footprints, they use like all this like different shit to track down these coyotes and who they're hauling. And like quite a number of times they actually find these people and actually manage to locate them. And it's incredible how effective they are at it, and it's pretty damn good. Um,
Well, we don't know about the ones that actually do make it to the states.
that's true. That's true. Because of course we can't hear about them because well we they're really good at it.
Yeah, and they're obviously not gonna be like, yeah, we're the guys that bring the people over the border.
If Trump doesn't like the illegal immigrants, why doesn't he just take them all and kick them all out?
Exactly. Like,
Nah.
Why can't he find them? He's the president.
oh my.
Well, speaking of which, I don't think we talked about this. So how like immigration and IC fuck was IC again? Immigration and Customs Enforcement or something? I don't know.
Hold on.
Point is, like, I honestly find it very hard to believe that Border Patrol and ICE agents are like fucking like literally tearing families apart from each other's arms and shit. And even if they are, just because you're holding on tight to your child does not make your stay in the United States any more legal if you're there illegally. Like you can disagree with that all you like, but technically the Border Patrol agents are right. And if you're there illegally, no matter how hard you clutch your child or loved one, it doesn't make your stay there any less illegal.
In such a state of panic, I'd assume that if you'd actually let them clutch their children, they would actually kill them by smothering them to death. So it's really good that they actually take them from their kids if they're strangling them like that.
Mm.
Don't hold on to your kid like that. It's a human being. It's not an object.
Yeah,
Well,
that's another point.
I have no idea how that actually works. Like I don't have any.
Try having someone pull on your head.
I have very short hair. I don't think you can really do that.
Head.
Hit.
Your
How do
entire
you-
head.
How do you
Pull on your
pull on
head,
my
You
man.
head?
grab your jaw and then just pull it up.
Why-
Don't do that. You that kill
What?
yourself.
Why would I do that? I would dislocate my jaw. What the what the fuck? Oh
That's
man.
the idea. That's what could happen to the baby because the parent's pulling on it.
Oh, that's my fetish. What?
What?
Anyway,
That's
so yeah,
offensive.
police brutality, in my opinion, is honestly like okay. So it's
Not enough. We need more.
Wow.
It's just not advertised enough. Like how are we going to advertise this as a police state if we don't see more police brutality? Is it really a police state? Is it really? No,
No.
it's not. You have the Bill of Rights. You have all like the United States
You have
Constitution.
guns. You cannot have
Yeah.
a police state if you have guns. And
Yeah,
it's-
literally, you can literally defend yourself, even if like whoever the president is of the United States decides to like go into a fascist state like old Nazi Reich. Even then, you have the Second Amendment. You already have all these guns. You can protect yourselves. If you have to go to war with the police, I mean, you outnumber them like a fucking like a 100 million to one. So like you have nothing to be like afraid of. I don't know.
there are about 2 million people in the American army, and there are about 100 million gun owners in the United States.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
I don't think a police state would be able to work. It just wouldn't. I mean, guns over there are a hobby, they're a passion. Children there can just disassemble and reassemble guns faster than I can tie my shoes.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Wait, in that 2 million number you quoted, is Space Force personnel counted in that, Kappa?
Of course, of course.
That's
The
famous.
three people
That will
working
be a
on it.
topic for another podcast.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Um,
what I want to bring up is going back on topic again about the police brutality. Is I recently reread and watched a video of the shooting of Daniel Shaver. Now,
oh God.
anyone who is not who doesn't know about it, it happened in Arizona and in a hotel or something similar to that, and police were called due to a I don't know. I'm not sure if it was a passerby or someone in another building. So anyway, they saw a long gun being handled by Daniel Shaver, and the SWAT team rolled up, and they were in the hallway, guns drawn, obviously, because there was a long gun reported. And Daniel and his companion, a female companion, came out of the room, and they were ordered to stop, get on their knees, and they were trying to detain them. And they were giving them direct orders. They told them that told them exactly what to do, and the female was handled first. They told them to show their hands and then crawl towards the police officers, and she was detained. And next up was obviously Daniel, and there also he was given orders that show his hands, and at one point he failed to comply, but they just yelled at him pretty much that he didn't show his hands, but then they yelled at him. He showed his hands again. And now a key point about that case was, and just a side note, there was oh, a what the fuck, a court. The thing went to court, and the officer who took the shot, he was released of all charges. And why that happened is because they gave him direct orders what to do. They told him if he does that or that, he will be shot. And now what happened is they told him to start crawling towards them. But now Daniel was wearing some sort of shorts.
Hoodie.
No, no, no.
Oh, no,
He
yeah.
was wearing
like flabby clothing.
yeah, pretty much flabby clothing. And at one point, when he was crawling, probably his pants started to fall down, and he was told multiple times not to reach. And he was obviously wasn't of ill intent, but he reached to his pants to lift them up. And he was told multiple times, do not do that, you will get shot, and that is exactly what happened. Daniel got shot because he reached, and that's why the officer was released of all charges. But now, there have been some, other things that have come to light. The officer, I'm not sure if I'm talking about this one or I'm thinking about another one. Anyway, the officer was charged with second-degree murder, but what, in my opinion, was a bit weird is on his gun, on the dust cover, I believe, he had
On his M4, yeah.
yeah, I'm not sure what the rifle was, but anyway, on his the dust cover, there was a quote: "You're fucked," end quote. Which, well, as a regular civilian, I would think that this person has some authority issues.
Issues, definite issues. Yeah.
So,
Well, yeah, but
what are your thoughts about that?
Like, hey, pedophiles, you're fucked. I would literally murder pedophiles. I would literally do it. Just saying you're fucked on something doesn't really mean anything, in my
No,
opinion.
of course not, but it still shows a certain character.
Of course. course.
To be honest, I agree with that. Like, I don't think it should. Like, how the fuck was that even permitted? To be honest, like, how did he? How was he allowed and permitted to have that on his assault rifle? How was that allowed? If I would have been like the chief or supervisor, I'd be like, take that shit off, like right fucking now. No, you can't have that. You can have some other decorations on it if you want, something like very simple, like SWAT or Marines or something like that. Fine, I don't really care about that. But if it's just something like you're fucked, no, 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 no. That's just no. I can't even explain how much no that is.
Yeah,
That is
I
so
agree with
fucking
that.
unprofessional. It's so
No.
provocative. It would literally make me scared of the police officer. Like if you're a police officer, you already have like quite a lot of like fear over a person because naturally they don't want to get shot, they don't want to get in trouble, they whatever. You don't need to add to that fear factor by having like some fucking like trigger happy like gun ho sticker or etching on it or whatever that says you're fucked. No, 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 no. Absolutely no.
Hmm.
I would be so
Plus,
mad at this person.
you shouldn't be happy to kill a criminal because the idea isn't to kill them.
Yeah, exactly. You're supposed to
That's really
uphold
not.
the law. Of course, if the person is dangerous to you in any way, then of course you're gonna want to defend yourself.
Of course, you're gonna
But
murder people at one point.
that's
It
the
is murder, but it is
yeah.
justified murder. Because if somebody, if your life or somebody else's life is at risk because of somebody, if somebody breaches your right of life, your natural right of just living without being killed by someone else, then at that point, that person's right has to be breached too. Because at that point, you're just defending yourself. It's either hey, either I die or he dies. What should you do at that point since you were not the one who provoked such conflict?
You know what I should do? I should consult internet lawyers. I should I should make a tweet on Twitter and wait for people to tell me what I should do in that case. Because people who tweet are the smartest and they know exactly how law enforcement works all the
That's
time, like
that's not how it
100%.
works, man. You just tweet Kanye West.
I think he's trolling.
You just tweet at Kanye West or a celebrity.
No,
That's
no,
how it works.
absolutely not. No, like every time there's a shootout or any sort of situation where you have to take any sort of action against anyone, you have to either make a Facebook post about it or like a tweet about it, and you got to get people's opinions on
The
it.
plebs don't know,
Um,
man. Their opinions are irrelevant. You have to get the opinion of Kanye West or somebody important. Lady
I,
Gaga. What
I,
if Lady Gaga says that you're right? What does it matter what the judge says then?
yeah, it doesn't matter. It's null and void. Like it doesn't matter anymore. Like Lady
What
Gaga
does the
said
judge
it's
know?
okay,
What does
right?
he know? What does he know about the law? Does he actually know anything? No. He's a corrupt Republican. He just got there by sucking dick.
Yeah, he's a cop sucker, dude. Fuck that guy,
Exactly. He sucked cops. He's a cop sucker.
cop sucker. Damn right, like a bootlicker, and
Bootlegger.
I don't even know.
Yeah. Well,
Seriously though, what is it with people who post their opinions on Twitter? Hey, this is police brutality. This is unacceptable. While doing like zero research on a subject. Like there's been like Donut Operator is one of my favorite YouTubers based on the fact that he literally goes through facts, looks up information. He doesn't just see some video on Twitter and goes like, "Oh, this is tied to police brutality, therefore it must be police brutality." Zero evidence, zero like actual like context behind the video, nothing. Just a video of a police officer maybe opening fire on someone, and then someone like titling it something, and based on that, it's either
I mean,
justified shooting or not.
opening fire on someone or fighting someone are brutal acts. So in that way, you could say it is technically police brutality, because they're committing some brutal acts.
Yeah, but this
But
is
it's
this
not
is just
wrong.
this is
Okay,
just anal. This is
just
being
call it
anal.
police brutality, but it's not wrong. Sometimes police brutality is justified. Fuck it.
It's just anal. Like, that's just being anal with words. I mean, I don't know.
if the so-called police brutality is justified, then it's not brutality anymore. Then it's upholding the law, in my opinion, of course.
Let me just tweet at Lady Gaga. Let's see what she thinks about this. Oh man,
But
yeah, it's
do you,
actually pretty.
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say
Let's make a
it's pretty.
nuance to get Freddie Mercury's opinion.
I need a Tarantino machine to get his opinion.
But would you classify the case of Daniel Shaver, the shooting, as police brutality?
No.
No.
He was intoxicated, and it could have easily been avoided. To be honest, I didn't like the police officer's attitude that much, but honestly, his attitude was second to getting an actual like solution to the situation. But I didn't like his attitude at all.
It's
I
not
think
his attitude that caused this.
well, no, of course not, because this guy was waving something around that was perceived as a firearm, and the police responded like
Appropriately.
respectively. Yeah, appropriately. Like if there's a long gun, then police are going to come there with three long guns. It's only natural. They want to overpower the person, be prepared, and then return fire if need be. It was only afterwards that they got into his hotel room, figured out that wasn't actually a gun, and yada yada blah blah. But either way, I mean, you have to take all the circumstances into consideration. When this video originally came out, I had such mixed emotions about it, such mixed feelings about it. I didn't know how to feel about it. It was, I don't know, because the way the police officer was behaving, I would have been fucking terrified. And to be honest, it was. It's only natural that you lift your pants up when you're falling down. It's only natural. So like on one hand, they
But
had
there's
him
no way he
out.
could have known that. There's no way he could have
Yeah,
known.
exactly,
He had
exactly.
he had a baggy shirt. He could not see his pants falling off.
Yeah, so there's what I feel about it, and there's what actually, what is
Why didn't you
reality
tell
of
the
the
officer
situation.
my pants are falling?
Well, in the moment,
Well,
you're not gonna think about that.
yeah,
You're just
in the
gonna
moment
act.
you're freaking the fuck out, dude. This guy was drunk, and he was being aimed at by like three or four police officers, dude. He was fucking terrified out of his mind. He was petrified, and I would have been too. I had no trouble admitting that. I would have been fucking terrified.
No, of course.
I would have literally like, I don't even know. I would have like refused to move, or I would have like stoned. I don't know. Not stoned as
Well,
in like high, but just
honestly,
like,
this is one reason not to wear fucking baggy clothing. Why not wear clothes that fit you?
oh my god, the
That-
fucking like the pants half down your ass. Fucking
Yeah.
stop. The fuck are you doing?
I mean, sure, the police officer like they had no way of knowing, but like if you wear pants that fall off of you, this is the type of situations that they can get you in. I mean, sure, it's a really rare situation, but fuck it. What could have the police officer done? Just magically known that his pants were falling?
Tarvi, have you seen the Daniel Shaver shooting?
Yeah, I just watched it while you guys discussed it.
All right, what do you think?
Uh,
You can disagree with us. It's okay. We're not going to judge you. Well, I am, but these other guys won't.
I will judge you.
I'm not gonna say anything. I'm gonna play softball.
Yeah, you
I'm
will.
not gonna say
Yeah, you
anything.
will. Yeah, you will. What do you think? This is a talk show. You get to
I
talk.
think the police officer should be shot. Honestly,
What?
Because of the way he was like barking orders and shit.
no, not the order barker. The guy who shot him.
Yeah, keep in mind those were two separate.
Yeah,
people.
yeah, yeah. He was right next to him. Wait, so why should he be shot?
Wait,
Just
why
go
the
on.
guy shot him? Yeah.
Just share your thoughts.
Yeah, there's no right or wrong. Like here we just share opinions, try to find the common ground. Share
A
Yeah.
person got murdered. There's nothing right in that.
No, of course not.
Well,
Let's get that out of the way first.
But go ahead, Darby.
you can't sit this one out. You've already backed into a corner.
It
Now
might not
you gotta-
it might not be legal, but it's still not right. Like
Well,
he shouldn't get jailed, but it's still not right.
I got no opinion on this. I just
yeah, you do.
I
Yeah,
need-
Yeah, share it.
I need
Yeah,
to
you-
think about it. Okay.
No, you do. All right. You thought about it. Move on. Like human thoughts process like that. You don't have to sit there and
No,
think about it.
don't. They don't.
Yeah, they do.
They don't.
Okay. Point is, just go. Give us your first impressions. Then you said that you think the police officer should have been shot. Why? Just explain that.
Because, dude, what the fuck? The guy was drunk. Like, you can see on the video, he was honestly, like, out of his fucking mind. And then,
Side point.
they made...
Side point. He did disclaim. Both of them disclaimed, the man and the woman, that they have not been drinking. But go ahead.
That's true.
Well, according to the articles, Daniel
Yes,
was...
they had been drinking, but they said when they asked, "Are you intoxicated?" They said, "We have not been drinking."
Yep. Probably not. Probably as like a natural reaction not to get into trouble. 'cause,
Yeah.
if a police
Also, keep
officer-
in mind it was believed they were armed.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, no, yeah, it's good that we have conflicting opinions because this is good. This is good.
Yeah, but we need to put like all the things on the table.
All right. So what else? What else are you gonna put on the table aside from a big dick?
It's very small.
Thanks.
No, mine.
Well, go ahead. Darby.
I don't really know what else to say. I just find it kind of horrific that like he would be acquitted of this. I like okay. I was like, oh yeah, a shooting. It was probably something like that happens every day. But like you're,
Keep in
I
mind that
just
the reason he was acquitted of all charges is because they gave him exact orders and told him what to do. He did not comply, and that got him shot. That's why the officer was not charged, not because
When
of the
you
shooting, but he because of the situation.
all right, fine. You guys win. The cop is
No, no,
right.
no,
but
Let's
no.
go on.
That's not what
Let's
we.
go on with the podcast. Come on, let's do
That's
this. I
not
don't.
what we
I don't.
want.
I don't want to discuss this. I don't want to get out of this fucking thing without doing proper research or anything. This is just like a spur of the moment topic. I don't
Yeah,
like.
exactly.
I've
That's
been having
exactly.
fun listening to you guys more than actually discussing this.
Nothing funny.
Ah, yes. Settle down, Junior. Damn. It's a talk show. Well, it's a podcast, but it's just a fancy term for a cheap man's talk show.
Yeah.
A poor man's talk show. No, it's good. It's exactly the spur of the moment type shit that makes a podcast good. So you got some conflicting opinions. At first when you look at it, yeah, this is exactly the kind of reaction that you got from people. And in the ordinary public, they got this video, they're looking at it, they don't know much about law enforcement like you don't. You don't research it like I do, and then you're looking at it, you're like, what the fuck? Like, why did he get shot? Oh my god, this is awful. But then if you actually spend some time listening to police officers talk about it and stuff like that, like you either do or don't. You maybe start kind of like understanding the rationality of the situation. But like how you feel about it doesn't change, but you understand, like you can like acknowledge why it happened. You might not agree with it. You might still be like, well, they could have done better. Yeah, they could have, but then again, it's different how what the facts were and how you feel about it. They don't have to be in sync. They don't have to be the same.
it's really good to have adamant opinions and the idea to have really strong opinions about things. But the thing is, once you get new information, obviously your opinion will slightly change. In a discussion, uh, the people discussing on one side will act as if they're entirely certain that they are right, and the other side will do the same. But that's normal. That's what should happen, because in discussions people get aggressive, and we should be aggressive, so we get our best facts, and our best thinking up there, so we can be concentrated on the discussion, so that we can figure out, a bit more about this, because you can't really argue against facts. Like, hey, if maybe I say something completely retarded, and Tarvi says, but no, Andy, the sun is actually does not revolve around the earth, and he shows me why, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's a good thing, but that's what discussions bring.
Yeah, stick to your opinion, but change them as facts show up.
Yeah,
That's
it's
it.
it's not the idea
That's
of
really it.
somebody changing someone else's opinion. It's about both of us understanding things more by looking at things from each other's perspective.
Yeah, so Darby, of course, me and Oliver definitely know about this case quite a bit, and you just saw the video for the very first time. So of course, like Oliver said, he had mixed feelings. You're gonna have mixed feelings, but as new information comes up, we can try to explain things. And same thing goes for any other topic we're gonna have about, let's say,
Meat?
me.
Oh, tell us more about yourself, Hardy.
That's a shitty topic.
That is a shitty topic.
Tell us how you just make your man bun so glorious. Just tell us all about your form, your physique, what products do you use, girl? Damn.
I don't use product.
It's all natural.
All
Oh, god
natural.
damn. Your man bun be on fleek.
All
Dup up.
natural. But no, I can also chime in with a bit of my own experience, since you guys know about it, but viewers don't.
Oh boy.
I was in a situation with a police task force where I was aimed at with a gun, and obviously that was my very first time of being aimed at with a gun. That was it was fucking terrifying. Like, it it finished rather quickly. The first part, I mean, where but because the police officer saw that I am unarmed and not a threat, and there was another guy in the room with me as well, who was also obviously not unarmed and not a threat. So he put away his gun, and well, we were taken to another place and so on. But the first thoughts that went through my head were, I'm gonna fucking die here. And like, that was a life-changing moment for me, and it was fucking terrifying.
Talking about your head, will there still be police brutality in 2 years?
What?
You know, because you have 20/20 vision.
The fuck?
He wears glasses.
Yes, I wear
He
glasses.
has bad eyesight.
Yes.
I have terrible eyesight. Well, of course there's gonna be police brutality. It's not
Yeah,
gonna be perfect.
it's never gonna go away unless robots or some shit take over the entire law enforcement profession. It's not gonna stop. It's only human to lash out at someone
Then-
if they're like.
Why don't we just make a day, a year, where police can just be just police brutality anyone they want, you know, without any repercussions.
What, like the
I would
purge?
not leave my house.
That way, they would not want to do that any other days of the year. You know, they'd just get their high once a year and they'd be fine.
That's exactly like the purge.
Oh my lord.
People
Oh, God.
getting 24 hours in 1 year to murder, rape, kill, or murder and kill is the same. Sorry, steal, whatever, and then the whole next period, well, the whole other year, they're not gonna do anything because they got to experience it. No, it doesn't work like that. People are still gonna be shitty.
Yeah, I mean,
Of course.
shit calls are never gonna stop, and police
After
officers
After the first day of police brutality, people are gonna need 2 days of police brutality to actually feel the same pleasure as the first day of police
Well,
brutality.
yeah, exactly. So twice
Then
a
4
year,
days.
once every 6 months.
It's just like heroin, of course.
Yeah.
You take
Once
one,
a
then
year.
you need 2, then you need 4, then you need fucking 50, and then you don't have enough money for enough,
and then you don't have any teeth,
and then you die,
and then you die,
No, then you don't have any citizens.
and you get AIDS.
and you get AIDS.
Okay, and on that note, let us say the final words. So, who would like to start? Oliver, you?
Are we gonna say grace now?
Let's not.
Wait, hold on.
He was a very beautiful person. I will miss him. My final words for him.
Hold on, how's it go? Hold on. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light? Anyway, say what? Excuse me? You want to say that again, bitch? I will fucking beat you in a karaoke, like fucking.
You
know,
can't sing.
Freedom!
I will beat your ass like a fucking go-go drum, like it says in
Do it.
our Lord and Savior,
For-
50 Shades of Grey.
Do it.
Okay,
Anyway,
back on topic.
police brutality, not really an epidemic, honestly. It's just how you perceive the situation and what facts are known to you or what you're willing to research yourself. Don't believe every video that's out there titled police brutality. Do some research on the matter. Look up police statements. Look up what other news agency has ever reported. And, you know, kind of form your own opinion. Don't just follow someone else's lead blindly. That's it.
Yeah, to summarize what Oliver said, police brutality, we need less videos of it and more of it.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I agree with everything. Like, research everything. Just one piece of video or one article, a picture, it's not gonna be enough. You don't know the whole situation about anything ever unless you are actually there, and don't be sheep.
Of course I do. You just have male privilege and you don't understand how it is.
Okay, we're veering off to enemy territory.
Tarvi, have you got any opinions on the matter? I don't have any opinions.
Any final thoughts?
Police better not beat on a brother.
I'll beat on you.
There are no
What?
final thoughts.
The thoughts are eternal.
In the end, there will
Okay,
be no
good night,
thoughts.
everyone.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
All right.
that's it for today's stream. That's it for today's topic. Please tune in whenever. We will announce it. I will set up a Twitter account, like I think I said last time. But
I think you said, yeah.
yeah. But and now reiterating, I will do it by in the next
Do
couple
it.
of days, and you can start following us. And we'll try to be live. Let's put some sort of schedule, 2 or 3 times a week, maybe.
Oh no, I'm not setting a schedule, but 2 or 3 times a week we'll go live. But I'm not setting a schedule
Well,
because
no, no,
like
no,
I
no,
might
no, 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 no. I don't mean as specifically schedule, but how often, well, weekly, we try to be live.
Yeah, I don't know, like 3 times a week I'd say would,
Yeah,
would be sufficient.
yeah, that's fine. So we will notify and keep in touch. And thank you for everyone who chimed in. And
Yes.
see you next time.
Bye, bitches.
Goodbye.